Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. Sorry about the delay. There were some outside and internal issues going on. We're having a bit of a heat wave here through the Ohio Valley, and unfortunately, that caused a power fluctuation, and then that brought up certain biological functions in myself that happen when you wake up at just a little bit past 5 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. And so, not that you guys need to know, check out my OnlyFans for video and pictures of that kind of event. But, but anyway, um, uh, I am a consummate um, procurer of things that are inspirational. And like many of us in a tabletop role playing game community, sometimes our obsessions go a little bit too far, and so I thought I'd share some of these obsessive collections that I have and share it with you guys. It's something that I just do on the side, and I've never really shown anyone. But I was like, you know what? Maybe I will. Some of this stuff is one of these is a special thing that I actually had a part in creating. For those who don't know, I am a bit of an armchair freelance writer as well. So we're going to take a look at Rory's story cubes. They're pretty fun. Rory's is not technically a tabletop role playing game edition, but Rory's story cubes are far more for children and adolescents and storytelling and things. But they have a special place in the heart of us, those of us in the tabletop community. So we're going to show you a little bit of those. We're also going to show off a few rogue Comet creations. These are difficult to find because they were sparked by a Kickstarter, and I'm not sure if you can find these. I found them on eBay for $50 as a set, and mind you, if you there's a links down below, but if you look up rogue Comet location cards, you can find them. At least in the past, they were in Walmart and other places like that, but they are very difficult to find. But we're going to show them off as well. Um, what else do we have here? We have GM's Miscellany from Raging Swan Press. For those who do not know, Raging Swan Press, I believe, started out as a blog post of um, basically random tables, and then they were compiled together. There's another book called the Thingonomicon, the Dread Thingonomicon. That's the other one. That's that is huge. And also, if you're someone who there it is, the Dread Thingonomicon by Raging Swan. It's a system neutral. It's so funny. Um, Raging Swan, think the Dread Thingonomicon, I believe, was a second book that came out. Uh, they are known. Their covers are very simplistic and usually just uh, basic black, white, or red, and pretty fun, pretty fun books. We'll take a look at that. But let's start out with something that's a little bit of a breaking my arm to pat myself on the back. It's a little self promotion here. This is Goth Dog's Blasphemous Abominations. It is, of course, 5th edition compatible, and it's about the Lich. This was a series that myself and the other members of Critical Hit Publishing haven't continued, and although I've got a lot of notes about so many other things. Anyway, each of these books was going to be about abominations, basically monsters and things of that nature, and how to create your own. And this book was written so that about liches. And of course, here in the table of contents, we talk about like their origins, the ways of the lich, like their personalities, destroying them, and creating your own. So this book is very much a not just historical, talking about the undead and things of that nature, but also has some infamous liches and layers and things of that nature. And if we take a look and start to flip through this book, dun, 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 we have ourselves the Way of the Lich, and little, you got to have yourself some fluff and their various motivations, what sparks them, a ton of story hooks and things of that nature, and what kind of styles of magic they use, things like that. And many of these are by choice, but you can also flip. Also, we have, as we get to the back of our book, we have a ton inspirational. You can build your own lich. What kind of powers they have, what their appearances, where their lairs are, their minions, and things like that. So if you've ever been, if you've ever wanted to use a lich in fantasy role playing games and wanted to like give them a bit more personality and motivation and things. That's it. So there's like different appearances and things like, uh, here we go. Number 8, infested. The flesh is crawling with insects and worms that make its skin look as if it's constantly moving. Things of that nature. We have background information like what were they before they became a bitch? Is it a dark birthright, a cursed bloodline, maybe a desert shaman or a tortured sorcerer, a retired adventurer, things of that nature? What are their goals? Maybe to uncover a true name or open a portal, gather exotic components, find an ancient grimoire, decipher a lost language, establish a spy network, things of that nature. Um, Guardians and servants. And there's even other strange motivations here, like control the seas, or hunt escaped prisoners, or erase evidence. Divine Ascension is a very common one. Create chaos, gather an army, things of that nature. Guardians and servants of them. Like what kind of guardians and servants do, like what's the motivation? Why would anyone even serve a lich? Whether it's a spider's web or our word is law, maybe slavery and bondage, promises of power. Promises of power. We have completed the 13 foul tasks, walked the 4 broken steps, survived the 9 wicked lashings. When do we receive the blessings of the Black Hand? Things like that. Pretty fun. Guardians and servant types, from constructs and demons to even serpents, bound devils, devout monks, arachnids, elementals, um, different types of lairs that they may live in, like a bathhouse. Be kind of nasty. I wouldn't want to take a bath with a lich, but bathhouse, keep, abattoir, sweatshop, riverboat, towers, catacombs, pirate ship, maybe an island or something like that. And then different motivations for your lich, whether it's paranoia, conquest, jealousy, personality types, whether they are jovial, charismatic, apathetic, pious, compulsive, different types of phylacteries, a beating heart, masterwork painting, a skull, uh, different types of quirks they have, whether they like to be made up, they hear voices, half-phobic. The lich absolutely hates to touch anything or be touched, ever. They will likely levitate and even enclose themselves within a protective sphere. Um, Maybe pets, they're fidgety. The optics, the lich is obsessed with the manipulation of light, collects all manner of glass lenses, prisms, and mirrors of extraordinary quality. They often have a number of telescopes and ocular devices to view the stars and beyond. Things like that. So, and then even other types of monsters, types that might be liches, like fae or gnomes, elves, rakshasa, dragons, beholders, centaur, liches, merfolk, minotaur, and then styles of magic, things like that. Anyway, wanted to show that off. So let's start with Rory story cubes. So Rory story cubes are, let's see if we can, let's share this out here. Rory story cubes are a thing that you can, we'll accept that you can acquire for children, and each of the cubes has itself a type of symbol on it. And the story cubes, there are a number of story cubes. Let's see if I can flip through there their website here. Oops. Ooh, 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 ooh. Here we are. And you can come up with different types of stories or games or what have you. And there's these beginning story cube boxes. I believe one's called class. There's the classic, adventure, and action or something. And there's a whole range of these things. Now, mind you, some of the uh, symbols on them may not apply for like fantasy or science fiction or something, but they are descriptive enough to be very very usable. And now they can be some people might find them just to be a little bit pricey, and but I don't know. Oops, don't keep moving their imagery. There we go. We've got Fantasia, Mystery, Emergency, and so we have a number of cubes here. So let's look at some of the cubes and see how we can use them to inspire us. Some of these dice may be a little bit difficult for you to view. So is this a little bit more on here? So I'm going to grab uh, a couple of 5 or 6 dice and roll them out. And what happens with the dice is that we can make stories or add elements, use them for inspiration before we even start our games, or use them as story elements as we are using, like at the table if we are stuck with an idea. These could even be handed out to the players, used in whatever format you um, wish to use them. Now, sometimes it may be a little bit difficult to decipher what they are. My camera is it's very washed out, but each die has actually a color to it. For example, these two are have like a green hue to them. It could be a little difficult to tell which one is which, but I don't think it really matters because they're supposed to be random. So right here we have maybe someone in a dark cloak and a dagger. We have ourselves a horse or a mount. Yeah, grab a couple of 5 or 6 dice that rolls 4 dice. Hey, at least I'm consistently inconsistent. Maybe we have a statue. Is that even a word on there? Nope, 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 nope. It's not something you can read. We have ourselves someone with a spear holding them over the heads of other people who have prostrated themselves. We have a backpack or some kind of sack or something. I believe this is parchment with ink, and we have ourselves a dead king with a sword stabbed into them. And we can use this just as flavor in the background. Like, oh, there's a rider with a dark cloak riding a horse. Or these could even be items you find inside of a room, or information an NPC has, and that kind of thing. And so with Rory Story Cubes, of course, you would have to memorize all of the things that are on all of the dice, and that would be nearly impossible, right? Um, yeah, Dead King flavor, absolutely. I mean, okay, even if you start to put these in a particular story order, you have a dead king. There is a monument of some sort, so maybe that's at the head of a crypt. Of course, we have, let's see, we have a horse, maybe a satchel, and we have locals. Someone is very powerful. Maybe they are a hunter or a warlord. They live in the area. Um, they have. Oh, okay. Let's put them this way. So we have ourselves maybe local hostility that's around the area because the players want to find the old crypt. We also have ourselves a dark hunter or an assassin or someone riding a horse who might be looking for the crypt or even to kill the the hunter or warlord or something. We also have missives, maybe ink, parchment, and a satchel or backpack that was maybe lost. Maybe it's a lost map to the king's throne or crypt or something. And mind you, you can come up with all these. We even using the same dice, we could roll them all again. Let's see, we have a bat that's real easy to find. This looks like a helmeted knight. We have ourselves a spider, This looks like a cane, maybe a pentagram, a a brazier, flaming pedestal, and I rolled the dead king again. Oh, cool! So this even gives it. This even is starting to even create ourselves a storyline of some sort. Dead king in a crypt with a sword stuck in his chest. Of course, we got bats and spiders. Some very common things. So on and so forth. So if you're someone who just, like I said, you're a writer, you're a creator, you are. Ooh, I rolled these before. Some of these before. You need some kind of inspiration. That's what these are. Mind you, there's a lot of dice, and there's even some that are thematic. I believe I even saw Rory Story Cube for. Let's go back to Rory Story Cubes and see if we can find um, some more of these. I thought I saw some for Batman, and I saw some others that are. Oh wow, these are. I did not know they had these. Astro. So these. This is let's share this out again. Story cubes. Yeah, there's even roll the cubes, make a story, and these are Astro. So these are definitely science fiction. And even on the cover of the box, you could say, make a story. I see some airplanes and starships and maybe some like stasis devices or something. Of course, we have ourselves people in space, falling debris, maybe a laser cannon of some sort. And of course, these are, again, they are not specifically for tabletop role playing games, but, you know, there are rules on how to play, if you want to even call it playing. Just making funny stories, fairy tales, epic adventures, things of that nature. And of course, there's YouTube channels based on it. To create your story, you can use 3 dice for the setup, 3 for the story development, and 3 for the conclusion. And, yep, if you're short on ideas, think of your favorite film, book, or TV show. And then you're free to interpret the symbols. If you have more than 1 box of Rory Story Cubes, mix all the dice up to give a new dimension. And if you're nervous, just go for it. There are no bad interpretations. But they're cool. And what I love about them, quality wise, about Rory Story Cubes is that uh, they are significantly large. They are they have an etched internal um, portion to them. So, in other words, they are not painted on; they're actually colored internally. So each one of these Rory Story Cube dice is imprinted inside of it, so you're not going to get them to rub off too soon if you're afraid of that. And they have like an off-color bone white to them, so it makes them seem like they're a little bit older than brand new. It gives them a little bit of an ancient, used effect to them, even though they don't have like a dark edge to them like they are actually made out of bone, but they're pretty cool. So anyway, Rory Story Cubes, real fun. Let's get rid of these here. And turn this off. All right, let's do that. We did that. Let's go with GM Miscellany. Under the GM Miscellany Dungeon Dressing book, this book is, dare I say, and I gotta love it. This is all pure compliment. This book is super nerdy. It is. It's got so much detail that you almost wonder why, like under Raging Swan, like why would you possibly even need a table for that kind of thing? So when I say this is super nerdy in terms of its detail, this book is nothing but dungeon dressing. So when you go into your classic OSR dungeon, um, and mind you, while this does have some 5e flavor to it, it's 95% system neutral. And if you're someone who's very deep into the OSR, you're going to love this book. So an example is, um, you may have something like you may need something like tapestries. So this page just begins with tapestries. And what I love about the book, again, about layout is, uh, the majority of this book is made with a 2-page layout. So when you open up a page, you have all of your layout right here in 2 pages in front of you. And if you're using like a PDF, you could, if you put in 2-page layout, you have all the information in front of you. This does have a lot of percentile dice and D20 tables. So right off the bat, I can't tell you what how like the percentages are divided, but I'm sure some are a little bit more common than others. So for example, here we have tapestries, and there's some common um, characteristics of tapestries. Like, are they wall mounted, ceiling mounted? Are they a pull down? Are they swinging? A character can use a tapestry to heroically swing across a space. It just gives you some examples of like how could people use some of this dressing. And then there are some major features, and uh, for example, like what's the major feature of the tapestry? Is it an event of familial significance, a famous building such as a castle or cathedral, etc.? Lyrics of a poem or a song, a battle, a landscape, a map, a deity or scene of religious significance, etc. And then we have our major features, whether it's this intricate tapestry depicts the solar system. Small diamonds worth 50 gold piece each represent stars. And and then it even gives you like a little bit of like a little something, as I read, number 2, which says DC-20 intelligence check values to find out if somebody even thinks that those little diamonds are valuable. And you could stuff that crap into your pockets and such. But we even go on to another page, a D100 table, 100 different minor features or dressings of a tapestry, such as the tapestry has been fastened to the wall by a dagger in each corner, or 3 adventurers lie dead. One was being carried by the others using the tapestry as a makeshift stretcher. And a lot of these little details are story hooks, like why were they using the tapestry to carry a dead adventurer? Where were they going? Where were they coming from? What caused their death? And so on and so forth. And there's like evidence of previous explorers, locks, literally 100 different flavors of locks, appearance and condition. Um, Junk and rubbish. Maybe there's like, of course, we have to have our goblinoids down into the underdark. And what kind of junk or rubbish have they just spilled or dumped somewhere? And mind you, this book is well over 250 pages, and it's filled with nothing but random tables. Do we really need a table of mirror appearances? No, but kind of cool to have one, right? Just in case you're stuck, especially with players and us. And mind you, you can use this. You don't have to use this at the table. You could literally use sticky notes, or just put down like, oh, I need information about pits in my dungeon. Let's see, I'm going to write down the page number, the number that I rolled, and maybe like 1 to 3 words to describe it, and just leave it at that. Talks about different types of pits, their conditions. There's another percentile table here. Different ways to find and check pits, whether it's like strength athletics check to check the scale of a pit, perception checks to find them, what kinds of, maybe there's something in the pit that is alive or dead. Maybe there are wall conditions around the pit, whether it's brand new or it's crumbling, it's been there for a while, and even falling into the pit, such as acid, lava, soft surfaces such as mud, dense undergrowth, snow. Maybe there's spikes or water down in the pit, things of that nature. And then little minor elements, again, 100 different minor elements of a pit. Like, the pit's walls are unstable and may collapse when a character tries to climb out. Or a half-decayed body of a goblin lies slumped against one wall. Dressed in rags, he has nothing of value. Or spikes once festoon the floor, but they now lie battered and scattered around the pit. Several Several bear ominous bloodstains, or thick, wiry, molted black fungus covers one wall and part of the floor. The smell of sweat and smoke hang in the air. Different things like that. So, um, again, I mean, we've got ourselves just portcullises, different types of portcullises. How are they used? Common characteristics, different types of whether it's like rope or chain pulleys, manual winches, weighted mechanisms. Um, what kind of construction, whether it's adamantine, bone, iron, mithril, stone, wood, different types of conditions that they are in, and being able to detect what kind of condition it's in, major features. And then, of course, we have a double page, 100 elements to add, minor elements to add to a portcullis feature and dressing. And again, you can use this through there's portcullis traps, tricks and traps, riddles. I mean, this book just goes on and on and on. And mind you, of course, when we use random items, you don't have to use this. These are tools, so something may not fit, but it is kind of fun. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do this, but you could randomly start rolling these at the table as the players move from location to location. Mind you, it might be a little off because you would hope that it feels like it's alive, but whatever. Strange D100 table of strange smells, strange sounds, thrones. You got to have yourself tons of details about thrones. Thrones, tricks, traps. It just goes on. Trap doors, and far too much information about trap doors and features. Far too much information about closets and walls and sconces and wells. I mean, just a whole. This is multiple pages on nothing but a well. Contaminated water, tainted water, percentile table for major features of a well, minor, another D100 table, each individual of minor features of a well tricks and traps, getting, falling into them. Is there deep water at the bottom? What's the depth at the bottom? Defeating and finding the traps around the well. Do you fall in? Is it going to draw you in? Is it going to hypnotize you? Things like that. Different types of effects like suffocation, the gravity well, and activation for different types of traps. Well of maddening visions. Maybe you take a look down in there. And then, of course, we have like dungeon treasures. So this book is a if you are a classic OSR seat of the pants, hey, I'm just going to make a 5 to 10 room dungeon and it's completely blank and I don't know what to add to it. And this is pretty awesome. It's very funny. There's even some of these treasure hoards. Sorry. This begins the dungeon treasures portion of the book, and it does give some story hooks and some unique items that can fill out your world. So it's not just gold pieces, gems, maybe a magic item, but there's different things. So for example, here in treasure hoard number 3, it says A is for Aboleth, a rare copy of the famed children's book goes all the way from A, Aarakocra to Z, Zombie, worth 50 gold pieces, DC 10 intelligence check values. So this is just a children's book of monsters. I mean, it's cute, but it's also worth some money. So maybe a noble will want that for their child. Maybe there's someone, maybe the PCs meet an NPC that remembers it, kind of like a Dr. Seuss book or something like that. Look up number T. What about trolls? And it says trolls are vulnerable to acid and fire. Whatever. But yeah, and there's each of these treasure hoards has something in it. Like, oh, there's a rope of climbing, but there's also like coinage, and some of the coinages are very odd numbered, like 1,192 copper pieces, 97 platinum pieces, just to make it seem a little bit more random, uh, things of that nature, and some story elements to it. +3 short bow. This wide, flat bow is built with a mighty recurve. Each end is carved in the shape of a horse's head, holding one end of the string in its mouth. And just from that sounds to me like it's a magical bow that is used on horseback or something like that. So anyway, GM's Miscellany Dungeon Dressing. Great book, great book. That combined with the Dread Thingonomicon, and you're never without some ideas. So let's show this off. Oops, wrong stack of cards. Well, anyway, I'll show these off. These are from Rogue Comet, and a rare group of cards. We have background cards, we have riddles, and each of these hard cases has, of course, cards in it. We this one's pretty cool with the traps and riddles card. We for some reason in the tabletop community, we love ourselves riddles, and this one gives a ton of riddles with the answers at the bottom. Always have to have a lot of riddles. The only problem with riddles is placing them in front of the path of forward progress, and that's the hard part. Yeah, you should. I'm with you there, N King. The N King says you should write things on note cards, then shuffle them face down in a bowl. A truly random system for your party. As a matter of fact, I do have a role playing game. Maybe I'll introduce it tomorrow. Called Dream Chaser. Long story short, Dream Chaser is a meta role playing game based on dreams, and your players basically write their own notes on their own note cards, and then you as the game master shuffle them together to create an adventure. Basically, uh, maybe we'll go through it tomorrow, but basically, all the players come up with what they want to see in the game, and then the game master shuffles them together and makes a game out of it. And I thought that's a absolutely perfect idea. And this is something similar to that. So, of course, we have ourselves plastic cases. These are background cards for NPCs. But we're going to go with location cards. Now we have science fiction at the top. We have ourselves a fantasy at the bottom left. And the bottom right, we have ourselves the modern setting. So, of course, you got to have your fantasy. And what's really cool about these cards, and I wish they were still around, is that on the location cards, each of these location cards, and listen, I'm a man of a certain age. I've got my gray beard and everything. Reading some of this is pretty horrible, but the location card has a map, noted locations A, B, C, D, and then lets you know what's in them. And on the other location on the side of it, it actually has the map with no details. So you can actually place this location in front of the players, and it gives an overview because yes, maybe they can't see what's here, but this is an apothecary, and in the apothecary, it just has a few descriptors and lets you know what's there. Maybe it might have something dangerous, something valuable, and whatnot. And I don't believe I actually shuffled these. These are, I mean, we have everything from the apothecary, arcane library, baker, bandit's lair, baron's castle, bazaar, blacksmith, butcher, candle maker. I did do a butcher, baker, candlesmith maker, didn't I? There's the baker. There's the butcher. There's the candlestick candle maker. Carpenter, citadel, city docks, so on and so forth. And each one of these, every single one of these cards has, dungeon number 3. Great. Okay, I don't know what's the place below this, but you guys decide to go in the basement of the building. We have ourselves a map. We use that map, show the players if you want to. You can even block off areas if you wanted to as the players navigate that map, and then you can turn it over for yourself to find out what's inside of it. And then it has some examples of like dangerous monsters, maybe some creatures, and we'll do that. The Yankee says riddles shouldn't block progress. I definitely agree with that. A riddle should have multiple answers, and each one lets you progress in a different way. Even I don't know lets you go somewhere. You know what? Best practices, right? Like I giving the players that riddle or MacGuffin that allows them to progress forward. Like maybe it's on uh, a note card, or a scroll, or parchment, or the back of a book, or you hold up a candle and you can read it through the back of a, I don't know, it's written on the inside of a sack or something. I don't know, something that where the players can take it with them so they can kind of analyze it. And especially if, as they start to answer it, it gives them actual benefits for answering the riddle within the game, I think makes riddles far better. If it's just a random riddle to open up a door and they can't get it, because there's a lot of players that are like, look, I honestly, I'm a pretty brilliant person, and your player might be like, I think all day long. I just want to beat things about the head and shoulders with a sharp implement. I don't really want to have to figure out riddles. So there are some players that just are completely against riddles. So be careful about that. But yeah, here we have a graveyard. Pretty standard kind of. There's, it seems to be a fencing or wall around it. There's an entryway. There's some buildings. Maybe these are above ground crypts where you can go inside of them. Maybe there's some areas here. And then as you read, there are some scenarios that are written below this. Very difficult to see this. Oh, there we go. Stonewall, Gravedigger Shack, Pauper Grove for mass grave for the poor, burial plots, small mausoleums, crypts, and then some scenarios. Rumor says that a religious relic was hidden somewhere in a crypt. Thieves are breaking into crypts to steal jewelry from the dead. A local man swears that he saw a statue on a crypt turn to watch him. Things like that. So, mind you, none of these are of a particular. There it is. The gravedigger is the thrall of an undead creature and hides his victims in the pauper grave. Okay. Real simple there. These are, of course, there's only so much information you could place on these cards, but these are really cool. So anyway, Rogue, Comet, and again, there's so many cards. I think it's like 60 cards, at least 50 to 60 cards, and all of these, especially since very few people are going to memorize all of the maps and all of the scenarios and everything in here. So these can be used multiple times, and of course, it's inspiration. You can pull some of these out beforehand or during the game when the players make a left turn and don't know where they're going. Now, of course, you got to have sci-fi. You know me. Got to have some sci-fi locations. So these are for sci-fi locations. And what I really love about these, of course, is it's just as intricate as fantasy. Artificial body part store, a warehouse, an ancient archive, augments hawker, your automated defense station, barracks, birthing center facility, cantina. You got to have a cantina, a casino, a civic center, conference room, corporate high rise, cyberware reseller, data center, docking bay, drug lab, eco terrorist headquarters, elegant club, fine dining establishment, gang hangout, guard tower, etc., etc., etc. Luxury apartments, medical bay, mega mall, mess hall, a mining complex, monorail station. And again, with science fiction, sometimes we can get a little bit like you're running through a major. Let's pick a major high tech city like Coruscant, an entire city-sized planet. I mean, will we really have details about everything around? No, but something like this with location cards, we can definitely, oh, there's a power station, there's a repair bay, there's a rocket launch location. And each of these has scenarios on it. Each of these has a map, a small map that you can use. Even with theater of the mind, as you note that there's no grid on these, so these can be as large or as small as you would wish them to be. And again, this location, there's just a map. You can reiterate this. This is a rocket launch pad, and it has, like, what's one of the scenarios? Number one, a malfunction has occurred with the rocket on the pad, causing it to suddenly become a bomb ready to detonate. And mind you, that could be something that doesn't even have to do with the players. The players are just running through Coruscant and everyone's screaming and yelling like, get back, get back. And the PCs are like, we're bounty hunters. Why are they telling us to get back? And it has nothing to do with the players. Maybe it just has to do with um, a power core about to explode or something like that. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for letting me show some of these things off. If you can get your hands on some of these, especially these Rogue Comet cards, um, I'm sure they are pricey. Let's see if I can find Rogue. Let's share this out. So I found these on eBay. Oof. And so these Rogue Comet cards here that I found on eBay go for $50 or best offer. Rogue Comet RPG, location, background, traps, and riddles. So this must be, so I bet they're offering the full set because it does say traps and riddles, locations, and backgrounds. And for $50, that's not that bad. But it's sold. Very difficult to find these. Uh, let's do another search. Rogue Comet. eBay, 401 games. There's the Kickstarter. 28 October 23, 2018. That's when the Kickstarter or part was going through. Noble Knight Games, okay, Walmart, but I know they're not for sale at Walmart. Winning Strategy Games. There's some images. Vintage CCG. That's not it. Pinterest. Tabletop Analytics. Drive Through RPG. Are they? Do they exist here? Oh, I guess not. Oh well. All right. Sorry. I was about to say if they're print on demand, I mean even that's a possibility. But nope, nope, nope. Very difficult to find. Sorry. Sorry, sorry, sorry. So we're going to share out. Lastly, before we get out of here, this is the landing page for RagingSwanPress.com. This is a GM's Miscellany Dungeon Dressing, but Raging Swan carries a lot of things. My book happens to be red, bright red, but there's also the system neutral resource, and again, pretty cool. Of course, you can get these as PDFs, and there's a number of collections, sample collection, 20 things volume. If you're someone that wants to get into this kind of thing, I can create something like that. You can become an overnight success by doing this very slowly. So if you've got a blog post, you make videos, you want to, hell, you just get on your favorite social media and you put out these like random tables or elements or whatever your favorite creative process is. um, I would say that go ahead and do that and keep producing it, especially regularly and consistently. Consistently meaning consistently creative, consistently helpful, and consistently like every Monday or every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that. Put that out there, and over time, people will become used to like a piece of furniture or the weather. People become used to you promoting or producing this kind of content from your social media, and they can look forward to it. And then if your social media is very easy to navigate, you can go back and then combine all that together. So here we have Raging Swan Press with all of this stuff put together. And of course, we have adventures. It's very OSR. OSRs is those in the OSR are very um, able to take bits and pieces and kit bash them together. So absolutely. Absolutely. The Dread Thinganomicon. This download includes an enhanced index for the full edition of the Dread Thingonomicon. No changes have been made to the book itself. The enhanced index now includes a new something. It must just be the index to the games. Because I was like, why are these free? Oh, okay, I get it. I get it. Probably went back, Dread Thingonomicon free edition, and and they they just picked a classic. I like the layout. It's just real classic, um, black, red, white, yellow, no images, no artwork to have to worry about. It just became known. Deities and demon sigils. That's it. Human powers of Ashlar. I don't know what that means, but it probably doesn't really need to be anything. Like, you can just use them. So kind of cool. Very cool. So anyway, guys, ooh, 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 ooh. Comments. Why are my come on, comment table move? So anyway, thank you very much for allowing me to show these things off to you guys. Sorry about starting late, but like I said, uh, I'm a person of limited ability. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. But yeah, GM's miscellany location cards. Went over some Rory story dice here. I love my inspirational things. Even showed off something that I had a part in designing, uh, abominations and such. Let me see if I can go to the designers page. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, there we go in the credits. There I am, DBJ right there with Alex and Rob and stock photography, of course, just to make it simple. But yeah, you want to design your own lich? Go ahead and pick this up at Critical Hit Publishing, things of that nature. But anyway, thank you guys very much. See, I was the last comment. Yep. That well, if you continue to say that, then yes, that it will be true, right? Because it is. But uh, maybe I'll bring out. You know what? Oh yes, yeah. Yeah. So Dave Brian Jackson is a little bit difficult to both spell out and pronounce for many people. So and yeah, it's my pseudonym or whatever. I had it many years ago. Oh wow, it's been a long time. I had an issue with identity theft. So believe you me, anyone searches for that name, it let's see if it actually shows up. DAVAEBREON JAXON. So yeah, Dave Brion. Um, yeah, don't it's DBJ is just whole much easier. No. Listen, nobody knows. You are perfectly fine. You have neither embarrassed yourself or anything. Actually, maybe I should be a little bit more forthcoming with it. Uh, why is mine? Oh, I've still got the Oracle. Jeez, I'm not very smart. I'm not smart. I still have the Oracle thing going across the bottom because I was talking about the Oracle decks. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Or no. I said Dream Chaser. Um, yeah, I promised Dream Chaser. No, that's not what I need. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Let's go back to the chat. No, you're perfectly fine there. The N King. I really appreciate it. The second episode of House of the Dragon has dropped. I think these episodes are like over an hour long, and so I think I got about 40 minutes through it and still had a chunk left to watch or whatever. But anyway, maybe we might even bring some of that up as well. So guys, thank you very much for letting me show some of these things off. There's some other classic games maybe I have in my man cave that I might bring out. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Heck, I even thought about doing an episode on this book, 30 Days of World Building, an author's step-by-step guide to building fictional worlds. I like it. I like the book. It very much falls into fantasy, of course. Um, but a 30-day world building thing is also a possibility I might want to do on the channel. But yeah, I love showing things off, and people don't want to see my ugly mug. Maybe let people engage in their own thing. So this channel is all about inspiration. So guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I hope something that I showed off to you could help you out. And like the End King has mentioned, it's very easy for us to take an idea like this and make our own. So you could write down a bunch of note cards. Let's go back to the accursed desert that I happen to always bring up. I mean, if you write down 1 to 3 possible things someone might encounter in your accursed desert game, like scorpion riders and sidewinder snakes and trapdoor spiders and quicksand, sandstorms, unstable sand dunes, an oasis, and you start writing these things down. You can just write them on note cards. Heck, maybe we might even do a live point crawl design, or what's another name for it? Points of light. That was used by a game. I can't remember which edition used points of light, but um, point crawl, points of light, west marches, hex crawl. Maybe we might do something live like that if I can get some note cards. I know I have some, and you know how both improv and sandboxing are the same thing. And there's a third one out there now that Black Lodge talked about, that it's not a sandbox, it's a soap opera. And it made me think of Chicago by Night. So we might even talk about that this week. Matter of fact, that's what we'll do. So yeah. So I believe the end of this week is Origins. Origins. Let's see. Origins Game Fair 2024. Yeah, let's share this out before we get out of here. Yep, Origins Game Fair here in Columbus, Ohio, June 18th to the 22nd. Oh, I missed it then. It already passed. How did I? Oh, yeah, I know how I missed it. Origins comes here, and I think what's his face comes to has come to Indiana off the time. Gen Con. That's it, Gen Con. I'm thinking of the wrong one. Where was it? Indiana. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, let's share this out. Gen Con is down the road from me. Yep. You missed an origin, but you can still catch continuation. Is continuation a convention? Continuation. No, not Constitution. I'm not finding anything. I am not finding it. The origin. Oh, yes. See, that's what happens when my brain goes somewhere. Yeah. The origin. No, well, the continuation might be pretty cool. Yeah. The continuity. What else is it? Yeah, Indianapolis is like what, 4 hours away? About 4 hours away. Exhibitors. Art show sponsorship guide. Writer Symposium. Blood Drive. Oh. Costume cosplay contest. Multiverse. Cool, 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 cool. All right. What the heck just I wanted to go back to the main page. Event registration open now. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you, N King. You're fine. Um, and of course, guys, have a great day. Be creative, be inspired, be top off on that mind fuel. I'm not going to ask for all the other stuff. We'll see you tomorrow. 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for those who have come this far. Guys, have a great one. I'll see you later. Peace and tranquility.